Hey guys, it is Johan and welcome back to another episode today. And today guys, we are going to be doing a particular sales training episode because we've had a lot of people request if I could share my knowledge and wisdom and skills in sales. But rather than doing that, I thought I would rather share with you my 5-step selling process. Yes, you have heard it. I've created a 5-step selling process which has worked really well over the last 5 years. And to give you a perspective, in the last 3 years, my income has been more than $200,000 plus a year. I get paid an amazing salary plus commissions on top, and I've hit that 200 mark and my life has completely changed because of that. And more importantly, if you apply these basic skills, your life will change as well. So if you're listening to this and thinking, hey, sales doesn't really relate to me, well, think about it again, because everything in life revolves around sales. Maybe you're going to convince your partner, your friend, your family member, whatever the case may be, that you want to buy that particular car. And if you want that car, you're going to have to persuade someone that that car is a right car for you, including when you're sharing this desire and dream to your friends. So everything around life is based on sales. Number 2, doctors get paid well, accountants get paid well, which all take uni degrees, mind you. Business owners get paid well with a lot of risk. But one of the best roles and careers you can do in your life, my friends, is sales. Not everyone wants to do sales, but salespeople get paid the most money. And really good salespeople get paid more or just as much as really good CEOs. So just consider that as well. And a lot of people, when they're trying to sell a product, they try and label themselves as a person who sells a product from business to business basis or a business to consumer basis. But I believe in sales, my friends. We all sell to people. So we are in the people to people business. And lucky last thing, my friends, the one thing I'd like to highlight is this. Today's training session is going to be very, very basic because everyone has an individual goal, needs, when we're doing sales training. So every time I talk to a business about sales training or an individual, my 5-step process is the same, but the way we deliver it and the way we make our targets and business strategies around it is different. And believe it or not, if you want to get really good in sales, you need to really focus on these 5 little systems or processes, whatever you want to call it, really, really well. And it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of critical thinking in order to master these 5 skills. So guys, we have a jam-packed session on Clubhouse as well. We are going to be uploading this onto Spotify. And if you're watching this on YouTube, if you can continue to like and share this content with some family and friends, I'll be truly, truly appreciative. But let's get started. So number 1, I call it the first process of selling is you need to basically encourage the other person to buy your product or service. And I call this first step stimulating interest. And throughout this whole training session, I'm going to pretend that I'm a real estate agent. So for each process, I'm going to share with you what not to do and what you should do. So when you're trying to stimulate process, if you're an agent, if you're a real estate agent, if you're trying to stimulate interest, what bad salespeople would do is do this. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. My name is XYZ from XYZ Real Estate Agency. We've been around the area for 50 years. And, we sell a lot of homes in the area. We have great marketing. We've been blah, blah, blah. And, we do this and we do that. By the time you've delivered your key message, that person on the phone has already lost interest because all you're trying to do is sell. But the key to selling is to develop interest. So if I was a real estate agent, this is what I would be doing. Mr. and Mr. Vendor, it's Johan from XYZ Real Estate Agency. How are you? And then they're going to say, I'm good. Are you interested in selling your home? That's it. That's all you've got to ask. And they're going to say a yes, a no, or a maybe. Now, if you're doing some one-on-one coaching or business strategy with the company, there is a lot more in-depth objection handling, questions you can ask to get that appointment. But that is the basic principle to developing interest. It's just to ask a simple question. Are you interested in selling your home? Now, hypothetically, you make that first call and you're very lucky. And that person says, oh, yeah, I am looking at selling my home. A great salesperson does this really well. This second step is booking an appointment, essentially. You'd have your computer up, your diary's all open from Monday to Saturday or whatever days you want to work, and you'll ask the person on the other phone this: what day and time would be okay for me to come over and see your home that you want to sell? That's it. Keep it open. And they're going to say Monday at 3 o'clock, Tuesday at 4 o'clock. And of course, if you've got things that clash on those times or days, then ask them if there are any other days. And the reason why you want to ask them what day and time it suits them, because if you start dictating what days would suit them for your own diary, they're going to give you objections. So as an example, a bad real estate agent would say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, thank you very much for wanting me to come and see your home. Will a Monday be okay? Because I'm pretty busy from Tuesday to Saturday. And all that person has to do is this on the other side of the phone: I'm busy on Monday. I want to see you on a Friday. What are you going to say then? You've cornered yourself in a position. So a really good salesperson would keep it open. And then as those days and times come through, you'd look at your calendar at the same time and make a day and time that aligns both of you. But a really good salesperson would really do this. They would ask some questions in advance so they're more prepared before they go out and see that customer. So if I was in real estate agency and I've made a booking for a Monday at 3 p.m, I'd say, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, how much you want to sell your house for? What do you think it's worth? Where would you go if you sold your home? When are you planning to put your house on the market? How many bedrooms? Is there anything special about the home? So you ask a lot of key questions before you even go and see that client. And what I find, my friends, is people get so excited about getting an appointment, they just forget to ask those questions. And then they go to a meeting, wasting time asking for those questions. The third step, my friends, is this. And this is my favorite. It's probably the most easiest step, but yet so many people screw this up. It's when you have a face-to-face appointment. Now, when you're having a face-to-face appointment, I've got 3 key principles that are non-negotiable. Number 1, if your appointment is at 3 o'clock, you get there at 2:45. A lot of people run late. Now, if you run late to an appointment, you're basically telling that person that their time is not valuable enough. You're not respecting their time. So that's rule number 1. Number 2, try and gauge that person's lifestyle. So if you're smart enough to ask the questions before you go out and see them, like, hey, what do you do for work and blah, 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 you're going to get a gauge on what attire you should wear. You shouldn't be wearing suits to every house you go and inspect. You know, in my business in logistics, I don't wear suits all the time. Most of the time, it's just jeans, a business shirt, and that's enough because I've done my research on who I'm seeing. That's rule number 2. Rule number 3 is this. When you're going to go see a person, understand that they're giving you their time. So don't go picking up your phone when you're at the appointment. Don't look at socials when you're at an appointment. I know a lot of people will say they don't, but unfortunately a lot of people do. And even when they're trying to sell a product or service online, they're still doing other things and not concentrating. And then you wonder why you can't get the deal done. I would say number 4, which is called follow-up, is where 80% of sales are either made or lost. A good salesperson would ask the key questions at the appointment. So you'd ask, hey, would you like to proceed with this proposal? And most people would say no on the first appointment. Let's just be straight. But the next question you would like to ask is this: Mr. and Mrs., when would be a good time to follow up? And they'll say 2 weeks or 4 weeks. And your job from that day is to follow up with value. So you don't just go ring up that person and say, are you ready to sell your house yet? They're going to tell you to get stuffed. But what you want to do is this. Instead of ringing them up in 2 weeks' time, you ring them up in about 10 days' time. And you're saying, hey, we've just sold a house around the corner for a price. The house is very similar to yours. Would you like to catch up tomorrow or the following day so I can show you what I sold? That's how you follow up, my friends. Don't just go try and sell a product straight away for the close. Try and build interest again and see where they are at mentally. But unfortunately, a lot of people get lazy in following up. And these days, there's actually no excuses to not follow up. You have, your Google calendars, Outlook calendars, and you have auto reminding programs as well. And if you're really clever with your CRM, you can send auto replies to your customer via text or email. But just be aware, people know when it's just a generic template that's being sent out. So that's the fourth one. Number 5, I call this the deal maker or breaker, and it's called closing. A lot of people struggle with closing. And the reason why bad salespeople struggle at closing is they're scared to get rejected, so they don't ask for the business. They get scared. So I'm going to give you 3 quick examples of ways you can close a customer. So if you met that person again after you follow up, all you got to do is this. Hi, you saw your proposal. We've met a couple of times. Are you happy to proceed today? And just keep it quiet and see what the response is from the other person. Don't panic. Just zip it. And as soon as they reply, you've got your answer. And of course, if we were doing like proper sales training, there is objection handling skills that you would need when they give you excuses or reasons not to proceed. Another closing method you can do, this one works really well for me, is saying, hey, do you agree that the proposal that I provided you is a fair thing? And they're going to say yes. And say, would you think I'm the right person to sell your home and work with me? And they're going to say yes. Then the third thing you want to ask is this. Is there any reason why you wouldn't want to proceed with me today? And you just zip it again. And that's it. Now, if you're closing and they say your price is too high, which is a very common objection, you could use this closing technique. I would simply say this. If pricing wasn't a problem, are you happy to proceed with me today? And if they say yes, then the next question is, if we can come to a fair pricing right now, are you happy to proceed? And if they say yes, you go for the kill and you close them. So guys, that is all we're doing for today's training session. I really hope you got some value out of it. But I need you to emphasize and understand that if you really want to get good at sales, you've got to do a lot of coaching and a lot of training. So my thing for you guys, if you need help with sales training, please reach out. I'm more than happy to be of service. But if not, have an incredible week. Speak to you soon and take care. Bye.